Upon a Time and Once Upon a Time in Wonderland panel. We have enormous amount of stuff to give you guys today, so we're going to get started with screening the first act from the next episode of Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. It's called Trust. Yes. Enjoy this, and we'll continue to
I'm put my bag on that seat so people know it's fine. That works.
After our panel. If you ever want to see Regina take a fall, this next video is for you. It's the first act from tomorrow night's episode.
This is embarrassing. But the great news is we're not streaming this live, so no one can see the escape of technology.
You go.
Oh, no. So how did you like the video?
Well, one thing I told them to watch out for when it comes on is Jafar's shoes. They're all curly like a jeans. So anyway, we're just starting off. Was there a specific moment when you were breaking one of the Once Upon a Time episodes where you realized we could spend a whole series in Wonderland?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it was season 1 when we were doing our first Wonderland episode, the Mad Hatter episode. And we were in this world that we were creating, and it was so fun and it was so exciting. We were thinking about the character Alice, and there was so much we wanted to do with her. We didn't really feel like there was a way she'd fit in with what we were planning at once, so it just kind of stuck in the back of our head for a while that there was something we could do with her, and it kind of grew until it became what Wonderland is now.
Well, how did you go about deciding what to do with Alice? So you got Alice, you have this very familiar setting, a couple other familiar characters. What was the process in deciding what story you tell with her?
Well, for us, we love the idea of this was a little girl who followed a rabbit down a hole, so she was naturally curious. And we thought, we wanted to see her go back in to find and tell a really epic love story in this tricky world. And so for us, as always at once, we love the mashups. So that's when we came up with the idea of Cyrus and the genie and matching up with a lot of lab. Because we thought, Alice, who is naturally curious and likes to, have adventures, would naturally fall in love with somebody who has spent lifetimes, seeing how people work, what they wish for, and experiencing that.
And we talk about the casting of the name of the parts. Dan seems to really take a shine to Michael.
Yeah, he's great. I think we got very lucky across the board with our cast, which was, finding some really cool actors that who could do, what we always want our cast to do, which is to make the parts their own and make them better than what we could ever imagine.
Yeah, and Michael, the minute we met him, the minute we saw him, we were like, this is the guy, this is the name of hearts. And, it took us a few minutes to understand what he was saying. His accent is so thick, but once he slowed down for us, this is the man.
I think that's kind of like voice is, or Tinkerbell in this week's Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, no, we're an international cast.
So we saw in the first episode of Wonderland what Jafar wants. He wants the bottle back.
Yeah.
What is it that the Red Queen wants? What's her skin in this game?
Well, the Red Queen, you will find out that Jafar wants the bottle for a very nefarious purpose and for a very devious spell he was working on. And what she wants is kind of a mystery that we're going to slowly unravel, but we're going to get more of a sense of it. Very similar to what we did in Once Upon a Time. Every episode we're going to flash back and tell you a little bit more about these characters.
Well, we all know what Regina's tweet was with Snow White. Does Red Queen's compare?
Well, Red Queen, it's very different. It's and I wouldn't necessarily call it a queen. She has, I think like all of our villains do a really deep emotional reason for what she's doing, and it's something that we are going to further in the flashbacks in the next few episodes. And I think they'll start to get a much deeper understanding of who she is.
In the pilot, we saw that Alice first went to Wonderland at a younger age. Are those flashbacks that we're going to get at some point to show what her original adventures were like?
Absolutely. We're going to dive into her backstory. We're going to find out what a little bit more of her life in Victorian England was and what led her to that asylum.
Yeah, and it's not the last we're going to see the little girl on the bluegrass. That version of Alice comes back as well.
We'll see when she first meets the egg.
We are definitely going to show you how she meets the maid later in the one.
Now, some episodic photos got released the other day from an upcoming episode of Wonderland, and Robin Hood was in them. What's that all about?
That's about publicity.
How do you like Robin? Robin Hood will be making appearances in both shows, and as we have seen, and we're going to find out that the Maid of Hearts has a very interesting backstory with Robin Hood, and that will be episode 3.
Now, when this spin-off was first announced, I know you expressed an interest in possibly having Barbara Hershey back as Cora.
We definitely have plans. It will probably be in the second half of the run, but we're definitely going to be showing. We definitely want to bring Barbara back because, I mean, who doesn't miss the Queen of Hearts?
And Wonderland, as you see it on the show now, is completely a result of actions that Cora took way back when.
I mean, the Red Queen had to originate from somewhere.
Now, the Cheshire Cat was pretty unimpressive, I thought.
Yeah.
But talk to me about, since the White Rabbit's in every episode, talk about making that happen. I mean, what are the actors working with?
They literally, if you watch a first cut, there's a white cardboard cutout. And so the actors will literally be sitting and then they'll cut to the white cardboard cutout with someone from behind. So
Yeah. Like the scene of the rabbit running through the forest where there's like cut out. And that's, so the actors are reacting to something that is not remotely like what it is on the screen. And then, we have,
the caterpillar is actually real. Iggy Pop has transformed himself to
Does the White Rabbit get a backstory in anything?
yeah.
Absolutely, because
As a stuffed rabbit.
Yes, stuff right.
Yes, we see the real rabbit. Yeah, I mean, obviously the rabbit seems to have affection for Alice, but clearly he's working for the Red Queen, so for us the question is why, and we intend to answer that.
In the pilot, of course, the way it opened, we saw Cinderella, which I know a lot of people appreciated. We also saw someone spin around town in this yellow Volkswagen. But if it's set in the present day, what's going on there? Did someone hot fire while she's going on?
Well, no, or maybe no.
Right away, I wouldn't touch that.
Yeah, that would be
that
that.
was,
Yeah, no.
Remember, it's back. We're in trouble.
Nobody messes with that in his car. So what that was the pilot of Wonderland takes place concurrent with the beginning of season 2 of Once Upon a Time. So it's before everybody is taking any of the book right now.
Yes, it is when Marvel Silk's called Magic Bag, and that story they think is coming. It's actually probably great, but
Okay. And then lastly, what is your season 1 plan here? Are we going to roughly how many episodes are we going to get, and is the story going to have
well, we are absolutely going to have closure. For us, the whole idea was kind of telling a short story. So this is the adventure of Alice and looking for her genie, and we intend to, give you a beginning, middle, and end. So that if you watch the season, all these answers will be answered.
Yeah.
These questions will be answered.
And answers will be questioned.
Answers will be questioned on the boards.
Right now, my Twitter feed is any indication.
Yes.
Answers will be questioned, which we love. And at the end of this run, everything that's sort of set up in the pilot is intended to be resolved. And should you guys want more, we'd be happy to take the characters on another adventure.
Yes.
Questions at the end of today's event. In the meantime, right now, I think we've got a video ready from the first act of Wonderland.
So we brought a special guest today.
You don't keep for us, but
Here's some roast swan for everyone. Jennifer Morris.
biggest fans of season 3. Why is that?
Obviously I sign up and pay for police too and they're writing. So I've loved every season, but like season 3 we get to go so much deeper emotionally and having all of the main characters back together for a while has been so fun for us. We just really enjoy being with each other, enjoy all of the traumatic experiences that these guys are putting us through. So I just feel like it's been a really strong season in terms of a lot of things we've built up to.
I don't know, do you find that season 3 has resulted a little bit easier to write? Because you have so much history to play on?
No.
I wish more.
I mean, it's every season and every episode is a challenge because we're trying to continually deepen and strengthen and top what gets done before.
Yeah, you're always trying to make the new episode better than the one that you just saw.
I mean, it's only easier as much as we know we have a cast like this who we can rely on to be awesome and all that, but it hasn't gotten that easy.
One of the things I like to Jen's point is, Emma is so fully realized now. She's just protected mama bear and she's got a sword.
Yeah.
That's just a lot of fun.
Oh, when Emma's in the tank top, you know it means action. That is one's code. When the tank top's on, there's action to be had.
Are you happy that you have the most practical wardrobe for Wonderland?
Yes, well, I definitely have learned from seasons past to think ahead about these things. And I had a feeling after spending 9 episodes in Fairy Tale Land last year in the same outfit, which I'm not sure how snowy I must have been going into that, that I would think ahead for the possibility of similar situations.
That's literally, if you watch the finale last year, every actor gets on the ship with like a backpack because they were trying to outsmart us. And they were like, these are our wardrobes when we have coats when it gets cold. And we're like, well, then we'll just send a fleet of mermaids to destroy them. We'll see who wins this.
My black sweater is in my back, in Mary Margaret's backpack because it gets really cold.
Yeah, she has a plausible wardrobe.
Adam and Eddie, talk about the decision to have Rumble kind of on his own on Wonderland.
Well, for us, we thought Rumpelstiltskin is many things, but a team player is not one of them. So he never said he would work with them. He was not looking for a kumbaya moment. He said he would go to his death to save Henry, and he felt that it was probably better to do it alone.
Will there be any other splintering of the group along the way? I mean, that's Regina's tolerance only goes so far.
I mean, I think you got a taste of Regina's tolerance in that clip we just showed, and I think that tolerance will wear thin, as will the tolerance of Emma and Mary Margaret and David. I think that it's, what Emma said in the premiere is true. Everybody has got to believe in themselves, and you're seeing evil queen being evil queen, and heroes being heroes, and pirates being pirates, and at some point that's going to reach a boiling.
We were on the set last week in Vancouver, and Emily Robbins said that she was shooting some scenes in the story.
Yes.
What can you say about that?
We will be going back and showing you in episode 7, we will show you the moment of what happened when the ship went through a portal and we stay in Storybrooke and we enact Emily's task with enacting the curse to protect the town.
Yeah, so we're going to fill in all the blanks of what's been going on with our characters back there in the time that we're in.
Coming off the final scene of episode 2, what drama is going to ooze from that nasty green shade wound that Charmy's got?
Well, he is going to have to be fighting with the reality that he, from now on, is poisoned, and there really is no cure for the dream shade. So, he is always a hero, but right now the mission is saving his grandson. So he's going to have to. I think that what's great about the next few episodes is you're going to really see why Prince Charming is so charming.
Josh Dallas told us that as a result of the early symptoms, Charming may start acting a little differently.
I hope not. He's so good.
Yeah.
He's going to have to deal with. It's going to be a big burden, not just physically but mentally, and how that affects his relationships with everyone around him. So
it's a true test of his strength, and I think we're going to really see how strong he is as a human in the next few episodes.
Now, the two of you and Kathy have been raving about Robbie Kay as Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Jen, what's it like to have a teenager get up in your drawer?
He really is. I mean, honestly, honestly, we all talked about that before going, oh my gosh, this is going to be the villain of all villains. This is going to have to be one heck of a 17-year-old actor. And he's awesome. We all have a great time with him. He's a really, really smart kid. And
Frightened
he's
of him, to be
been
honest.
he's been a very efficient way.
We're frightened of him. We don't even talk to him.
Well, we had a premiere party last week in Vancouver 2 weeks ago, and it was actually the first time I met him in person out there, and it was, you know, I'm a little running for snacks, and I literally like turned and instinctively went away. And he was like, I think he was insulted. So then I had to come back and tell him I wasn't afraid of him, it was his performance.
Jen, with respect to your TV son, why doesn't Ken just take what he needs from him and dispatch it for him?
Oh, well, then there would be no story.
Well, to be honest though, and I won't say exactly what I go into it, but there's definitely a reason for that.
There is a reason, and you will see more in this episode, actually, why Pan has not just reached in and ripped out the heart of the truest believer. And so by the end of tomorrow night, you'll know a lot more about what Pan has in store for Henry.
Yeah, and you know, it was our intention to not create a villain who's just out for murder or world domination. We were trying to create with Pan someone with a more complicated agenda, and that starts to become, I think, more and more clear as these episodes continue.
I would say that Peter Pan may be one of our nastiest villains and most complicated villains that you will see. And you know, as you know, we're airing 11 straight this year, and by the end of it, you will understand why I just made that comment.
Everybody here saw episode 2 last Sunday, right? There was a scene last week where there's a very conspicuous deer walking in the background. Bambi?
Yeah,
Absolutely, man.
it was bad.
How did that deer?
The deer was totally in the background. I was waiting for it to have a line.
In seriousness, it was a Bambi that literally wandered onto our set. While we were shooting.
We cannot afford that shot to actually get a trained deer to come along. We shoot so far into the forest that it came, and the director was like, shoot it. Production value.
We also had a day where we got a memo warning us about bear sighting on set. Like only on this show would you get a memo, you get like an email at 2 in the morning, like, no, just be warned, there's gonna be bear sighting where you're working tomorrow.
And now it won't come out of its trailer.
Jen, do you have a favorite episode of this season?
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, it's always fun when you get to kiss someone.
I wonder who that'll be.
Well, along the lines on that topic, Book's been flirting up a storm. I know Emma's dealing with Neil's loss. I know Emma's focused on finding Henry. Are we going to see any other flirty developments on that book in Emma front?
It's complicated. Hook has definitely been surprising him, I feel like.
He's working overtime for her.
He is working
Yeah, those pirate charms.
But, Emma's very quickly, obviously, just focused on trying to get Henry. She's really not wanting to be distracted from the fact that she wants to do whatever it takes to save Henry and to have him back in her life. And so, I think there's a lot coming at her that she's not paying very close attention to. But she is pleasantly surprised by the fact that he does seem to really be working to help. That he's genuinely invested and that, we're in a land where everything makes no sense to Emma once again. And she's learning as she goes, as always. And he's someone who's lived there for a long time and can be a true help. And it's proven himself to be a true help today. So
We're also, episode 5, we're going to find out how he became a pirate. So we're going to learn a lot more about Julian Jones.
Adam, and is there any reason that once Neil ultimately makes his way to Neverland, it's not just some obstacle-free happy reunion and there's actually no triangle between them?
Here's the thing, I mean, it's like, if and when Neil and Emma find each other again, it's it's not as simple as running into each other's arms. There is a very complicated history between those two.
They're the things you say to somebody as they're about to die and fall through a portal, and then they're the things you say when things have calmed down and you actually have a chance to talk.
Right, and you have to realize what really came before in that relationship and all that stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't eliminate 10 years of her being heartbroken for him and feeling like he had rejected her. Not just rejected her, but left her to be, or set her up to be arrested. All the things that she thinks happened are deeply, deeply wounding. And so even though she now knows that they're not true, she spent 10 years believing them, so she has to, she has to sort of re-understand her own history a little bit.
Neverland, because it's a place where you don't grow old, it kind of forces you to confront your past. And I think you're going to see in these episodes in Neverland, all the characters are going to have to confront their past. Tonight, Regina is going to have to confront a very complicated past with Tinkerbell, where Tinkerbell, you will see tomorrow night, is telling Regina that, Daniel was one thing, but maybe it's time to move on, and I can help you find someone out there you will love. And by the end of tomorrow night, you will find out who is right for Regina.
We talk about different relationships on the show, Hook and Neil, Uncle Bell. Do you keep in mind all the different couples that stand for shipping and ever right to that?
Here's the thing, the biggest issue I have is that nobody is shipping Kitswitz.
Not one.
Nobody. It's just, yeah. No, I mean, it's awesome. I mean, look, we write the show and we put it out there, but it's your show. Like, it belongs to everybody in this room and everybody who watches it, and we love, all the Captain Swans and the Neil Fires and the Swan Queens and everything. It's like, they're all, important parts of our fandom and important parts of what the show is.
I love it. I mean, I get asked, there's three that I get asked about the most in terms of ships. I get asked about Swan Queen. I get asked about Captain Swan, and I get asked about Swan Fire.
Oddly, more Swan Rail.
Not sure how that didn't develop.
Yeah.
But what I would say about all of them is that I just think they're all awesome. I think every combination of fame characters together is awesome because we're doing a show about fairy tales, which is about self-discovery, it's about identity. And if you guys are watching the show and seeing yourselves in it and projecting yourself into it and projecting what you wish for onto it, then great, that's awesome. Like, I feel like then we're doing our job. That warms my heart and makes me so happy. And so that's why
The show really is for you, and we love the fan art. We love when you guys, we bring them into the writer's room. The posters that people create and they send on the internet, like, it makes their way to us. And
There may be a Frankenwood poster.
There is a Frankenwood poster. The Wonderland photos you guys did. We love it and we encourage it, and this show is, is for believers and people, and if you're creative, like, keep doing it. Send us your stuff.
Yeah, look, we may write it, but it's your show.
Yeah. So take it, it's yours now.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to thank you for a couple of TV line reader questions, and we're going to open it up to audience questions for a few minutes. Number one, Aliana wants to know, will we find out who wrote the book that Henry jokes around?
Someday.
Yes.
Amber wants to know, will we see Regina teaching Emma magic?
Absolutely.
Do you have any new magic scenes this season?
I have had some new magic scenes. I am becoming very magical.
And Lola wants to know once our heroes make it back to Storybook, will any time pass, or is it going to be like, oh, you just left 5 minutes ago?
First kiss, and then, and yes, kind of.
Yes, you will see that we will absolutely show you the moment when they left and what happened in the immediate aftermath of that, but you'll also realize that when we do show you Storybook, 5 days has passed.
Right, and we do it on that front. We want to show you what's happened to Archie and Randy and the Dwarves and all and Lou. And all the people left on.
So Neverland's 11 episodes, but it's 5 days.
Well, when we get to Storybook, it's only been 5 days, but the journey continues.
There we go. Okay. All right, audience questions. Let's start at the mic on the side.
Hi guys.
Question. When we opened, or when you guys opened up the season, you showed that Neil had fallen back into the forest with Mulan and Sleeping Beauty and Prince Philip. How did Prince Philip come back? And see that episode.
That's a great question.
Prince Philip was returned from the Wraith, if you remember last year. Cora let Aurora know that it can be done, and will we see that not in the first 11, but we are definitely going to be having an interesting scene tomorrow night between Mulan and Aurora.
Thank you.
Hi Jennifer, hi Adam. Oh here. My question is, if you had the chance to take one episode and change it all around from what it is, which one would it be?
From what show?
For Once Upon a Time, of course.
What would be changed?
What would be one
that
episode?
change?
One episode that you could change around.
I don't, here's the thing is that, when we sit down to do it, you do what you feel at the time and what you think is best, and, you don't want to look back and say, oh, I wish I could change that, because the show keeps moving
And
forward.
yeah, and they're all interconnected, so it's the process of making them is such that, like, if there were anything we wanted to change, we'd have a domino effect on everything that came out. So it's, flaws and all, like, I think we stand by each other.
And, a lot of times there's a scene and you're like, oh, I wonder what that is, and then 3 episodes later it becomes something that you're like, oh, that was awesome, but it would never have been that awesome if we had set it out 3 episodes earlier.
So as far as regrets, you don't have regrets or finds out about his tattoos.
Well, we're proud of what we've done, and, rock and roll is a messy business.
And one more thing, I don't like the Regina wanna be the Red Queen.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, everyone. That is the support I usually look forward to on the vlog Sunday night. It doesn't make me cry.
Welcome to Mayor Comic-Con for one. So we are currently in Neverland and Wonderland side by side. It brings me back to my childhood. I am an avid Disney lover, and originally before Wonderland series was created, I always wondered, would you guys introduce other Disney characters? Because as ironically the damn thing, we've noticed that Cricket has Pongo, but we never even enter 101 Dalmatians. So my question is, now that we have a side-by-side series, do you guys intend on introducing characters that in movies we haven't done, or would you put them in the series for that one, introduce them, like Big Jafar? We didn't see it in Once Upon a Time, but now we have him in Once Upon a Time in Wonderland.
We'll definitely have, there are many characters out there. We're going to meet Ariel pretty soon. We're going to get to entertain tomorrow night. There are characters out there we love to do, like Rapunzel or Cruella, but, right now we're really focused on our core characters here and their journeys and the people that come into it, so hopefully, given enough time, we'll meet them all.
Yeah, we've got our list of, people we want to bring into the show. It's how you bring it in, and it's how it serves as the story that we're telling is important. Like Ariel's a great example. That's a character we wanted to bring on from the start, and we finally got to the place where it felt right and it was the right place to do it, and it's just a few more weeks from now.
Hi.
I have a question about Henry's work scene. What was the decision behind not having Emma hold him or even look at him?
Do you want me to answer?
Yeah, well, we know it. We played it, so.
I felt like when I read the script that they were right to have written it that way, because Emma is not in a situation where she wants to not raise her child. She actually believes that she can't. She's in prison and believes this would be a terrible situation, and she really wants him to have the best life possible. And she knows herself well enough to know that if she even holds him for a second, she will keep him for sure. And if she looks at him for a second, she will keep him for sure. I just get kind of thinking about it. And so the only way she could be strong enough to do what she believed was right was to not let him touch him.
And, for us, we really wanted to show that emotion and cut to the determined Emma we saw on the ship, who was going to get her son no matter what.
And it really was, it was a very conscious decision to start the season this way because it's a huge part of Emma's journey as a character.
And absolutely.
And we already see Regina's actual adoption very soon.
Yes, coming up, we are going to show how and why Regina adopted Henry.
Yeah. Hi.
Thank you, Jen, for bringing your presence here.
Jen Morrison, everyone.
My question is, who ever seen Emma in a birth about it? I copied Emma, and I want to dress. Oh, I see. Well, I feel like we should have her in her office so she can learn fancy dress.
I think all of us want to see Emma in a ball gown, and so I think part of her journey is finding her way to it. Not all of us, fit the dress right away.
Let's try and squeeze in two more. Go back over here.
Hi, Jennifer Morrison, you said something really great about watching the show and finding yourself in it and identifying yourself in these characters, but as a queer woman, I don't have that. Something so great about Once Upon a Time is how these fairy tales are twisted and innovated, and you have different people and different stories interacting, so is there any chance of queer representation on the show? Especially with the talk of shipping, like Aurora and Mulan, we're starting from fairy tales that have already been written. They're starting from fairy tales that were already written, and it takes time to evolve them, and it takes time for the mashups that they're doing to continue to grow and evolve. And so, what I can say to you genuinely is, I think you should keep watching because I think you will see what you want to see.
I think, our show is about love, and it's about earning love and finding love, and love is complicated. And so, for us, we want to try and represent the real emotion, even though we're in a fantastical world.
And we want to represent love in everything.
Everything.
Thank you.
In the clip we just saw from Once Upon a Time, was that Thor Hammer in Mr. Gold's closet?
Sorry, I didn't understand what you said about that.
Was that Thor's hammer in Mr. Gold's closet?
Rumble collects so many things that, I gotta be honest, it probably was. Don't tell Marvel. Yeah.
One more.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Somebody brought up Ariel earlier. Super excited that we saw that. Are we going to see a glimpse of a certain fabulous sea witch that goes along with it?
Yes. I would be very disappointed, but the question is, who is she?
Yes. But yes, you will see Ursula and see our twist on that.
Yes, we'll see our twist on who is Ursula.
Awesome, thank you.
We just want to thank you all for your support. It is fantastic that we are in season 3, and we're so excited about this. Keep watching live. Thank you.